What's up, guys? This is Jim from the Bingetown TV podcast, and I'm here with my first ever non-theory Yellowjackets video. Beware, there are major spoilers for season 2, episode 8 ahead, so please make sure you're caught up before watching the video. But seriously, if you haven't watched by now, how can you call yourself a Yellowjackets fan? Totally kidding. But anyway, if you aren't caught up, hit that subscribe button and save this for after you watch. And of course, please hit that subscribe button if you like our videos so you can stay up to date for all of our future videos. So today I'm taking off my tinfoil hat to talk about some comments I've read about episode 8 since it's aired. Comments like, there are way too many hallucinations and they have no point, and why were the survivors okay with killing one of their own? So in this quick video, I want to address all those comments and explain the episode 8 ending sequence. Comment number 1, there were way too many hallucinations and they have no point. My response to that is that the hallucinations are very important to the story and play a major role in helping us understand what the survivors were going through during their time in the wilderness. Ever since the girls and Travis feasted on Jackie, and remember, Coach Ben did not partake, they have been working with rations and small amounts of food. Food, especially protein, is so scarce at this point in their story that they decide to boil a leather belt in hopes that it can give them some kind of sustenance. The survivors at this time in the story are in a dire situation and will not last much longer. If you research a little into starvation, when you get to a certain point, you can have severe mental and neurological symptoms such as depression, anxiety, panic, and yes, sometimes hallucinations. Many people worried that the amount of hallucinations in this episode are due to the wilderness and the supernatural aspect of the show, and that the writers are leaning way too heavily into this, and that it will make the viewers have to question literally everything they are watching in the future. However, I actually think the opposite. I think the hallucinations are there to really explain the state of the survivors at this point in time, showing their slipping mental states and their desperation for food. Remember, this isn't a one-time occurrence for the writers. When Coach Ben does not partake in the Jackie buffet, he starts to experience hallucinations and dreamlike states that continue on and off. Of course, in this episode, the hallucinations by design are also there to fake out the viewer a little until they are revealed to be actual hallucinations. But still, I do not believe that major hallucinations like this will continue until they become hungry again. Because this is a TV show, people forget that to understand the story, they need to really try to put themselves in the character's shoes. In episode 8, they are currently residing in a living hell, and I do not know how mentally stable many people would be in that situation. If you think about it, the writers have been consistent when it comes to the hallucinations. When the girls and Travis eat and Coach doesn't, they have a time where they are okay while he's suffering and hallucinating. As the girls and Travis are starving and have not eaten, they begin to hallucinate similarly to how Coach did. I do want to make clear, though, that I do think that some of the hallucinations have meaning and may be influenced by the supernatural aspect of the show, but it is pretty obvious that they do increase as the survivor situation gets worse and they get closer to death. This leads to comment number 2. Why were they okay with killing one of their own? Now, admittedly, this comment definitely went through my head during the original watch. I do think that my response to comment 1 needs to be taken into consideration here. Like I've said plenty, these survivors are in a dire state and are on the brink of dying of starvation. They are also starting to find that their only form of relief has seemingly come from the wilderness and Lottie's teachings. Whether that should be considered true or not is for another video, but for argument's sake, most of these survivors are firm believers in Lottie and the wilderness right now. When you're on the brink of starvation and are not mentally stable and unable to think clearly, it would make sense that they could be convinced that sacrifices must be made to the wilderness so that they can survive. One comment that I also saw is that they were stupid because they were willing to kill one of their hunters. And logically, that is a very, very true statement. Logically, you would not kill one of your hunters. But if you actually go back to the episode where it was Nat versus Lottie, 1v1, hunting for food, most of the girls did not believe Nat really was bringing the food to the table. They believed it was the wilderness through Lottie. And at this point in the story, more of the survivors have joined the Lottie train, even Travis, who was one of the hunters himself. So logically, yes, I think it was very, very dumb to let Nat get chosen. But for story's sake, it does make sense. Lottie was upstairs literally dying and saying that she's okay with them eating her so that they could survive, but they said that they should have the wilderness choose. And instead of killing Nat, they let Javi die and took him instead. If they are thinking solely based on we need food and not we believe in the wilderness Lottie, then they would have climbed the ladder upstairs and finished Lottie off without ever drawing any cards, without ever going after Nat, and without ever going after Javi. Okay, so for this next little part, I want to be transparent and let you all know that I deleted the original video and re-uploaded with a correction to my last point in the video. And that was that I thought Travis's character should have had a problem with Nat being chosen and that he just stood there and was going to let it happen. And right away, viewers commented that he did have a problem and that he intervened. But what I meant to say was that I thought it was weird how long it took him to intervene. Nat drew the queen card, looked at Travis, and he was silent. Then Shauna turns her around, puts the necklace on her, puts the knife to her neck, and it's Nat who faces her and says, "You'll have to look me in the eye." If I'm Travis and I love Nat, as soon as the person I love draws the queen card, I'd be like, whoa, 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 we need to rethink this. I totally understand cinematically it was done for dramatic effect, but I just wanted to point out that Travis, someone who loves Nat, was in such bad shape mentally and physically that he seemed to be totally out of it most of the scene until he snapped back to reality and finally saved her. So I do want to thank you all for keeping me honest and letting me know when I need to be more clear in my videos. Re-uploading loses all the views and the other stats and all that kind of stuff, but I don't do this for the stats and the view count. I do this for the community with you all. I appreciate every single one of your comments and interactions. But anyway, the point I wanted to make was that I thought it was weird that it took so long for Travis to intervene, but it does add validity to my statements in comment 1 about how the starvation and trauma is not just causing him to be out of it physically, but also out of it mentally. Travis is the ultimate example of how this moment is not supernatural. They're just all so out of it at this point. So what do you guys think? Are the hallucinations showing how dire the situation is for our favorite Yellowjackets, or did the writers go a little overboard with them? Did Travis take too long to intervene, or am I just overthinking it? Let me know in the comments. I will be back with one more video to discuss this crazy episode before the finale drops on Friday, so please hit that subscribe button so you're notified when the next episode comes out. Until next time, buzz, buzz, buzz.